Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Terry, and I have Dr. Gail here with me today. So, hey, Gail, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Terry?
Good, thanks. And tonight we're going to talk about the elementals, which is great because you work with the galactics, the star people, and the elementals.
Hmm.
And I work with a lot of inner Earth beings and lots of them down there. But
Yeah.
lots of them, do you feel like some of them are also like interconnected? I'm going right into this. Do you feel like some of them are seeded by the galactics, just like a lot of hybrid humans?
Well, a lot of them have the ability that are inner Earth that can go off Earth. So
Yeah,
um, there's a mixture of everything, and it's almost hard to say. This is exactly what inner Earth beings do. This is exactly what on Earth beings do, and this is exactly what our galactics doing. And we so much want to put everybody in a one category fits every one of them. And there's so many thousands of millions of different species that we just cannot do that. My mind just gets blown every time I try to categorize it and think, okay, I've got it now. Nope, I never do. They show me that that's not right. Here's an exception.
yeah, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Because I thought, okay, because a lot of people feel like the Earth beings are completely different than the galactics, but I feel like they've really moved back and forth, many of them. And then also, you and I have talked about this before. When we go into inner Earth, there are a lot of galactics there. There are
Yes,
civilizations that are still there.
right.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting combo. Anyway, I guess we'll say hi to a few people here. Hi, a few people.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Teresa. How are you? Leah. Hello, beautiful. Debbie. Hi, Mary. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Mary. Akila. Hey, girl. Hello. Hi. It's so nice to see you. White Dragon. Paul, of course, is here. Hello, Paul. And hi, Karen. How are you? Karen Catch. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Congratulations on your new book.
oh, good. Well, thank you for buying it. I just wish you were closer to where. Here's your autograph.
It's zap it. Just zap it with one, right?
Maybe I
Yeah.
can go travel and start signing books.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Maureen. Hi, Mej. Isabel. So lots of people coming in now. Anne, Suzanne, Lisa. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's rolling in. Hi, Julie. Jacqueline, Mangled Unicorn. Hi. Oxford Cat. Oh, I like that name.
Oh, I haven't seen that either. Since that's somebody new. Well, thanks for being here, Oxford Cat. That's a
Yeah.
great name, and I see a cat there, so I'm wondering if that's not the cat's name, Oxford.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. And Pamela Anderson is here. So hi, Pamela. Yeah. So anyway, we are going to talk about, we usually do a lot of galactic work and healing work when we're together, but this time we're talking about the elementals because I feel like it's just so important right now. Everybody's talking about your book too, by the way, Debbie is too. So let me just say this. I got the book on, I think a Thursday, probably at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had it finished by, I think, 12 noon the next day.
I know.
So
And you were texting me when I was in Mount Shasta, and I didn't understand what in the world. She's going 105. I'm going. I don't have a book. I can't. I thought you were asking me what was going on page 105, and you were just saying I made it to 105. But people who don't know my book, this is it. I'm going to show it to you. I have to
yeah.
plug my book, How I Learned to Fly a Spaceship by Gail McLeod. And it is about my adventures with the aliens when I was going on rescue missions. So this is an action adventure book, and it's short stories and also has a little bit of humor in there also.
Yeah, yeah, and some intrigue and, suspense, so, yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially, like, when you go to, collect people
Yeah.
and save them from different places all around the world. Anyway,
In and getting them out and everything, all the involvement of that takes to be able to pull it off.
yeah, Tom's here. Hey, Tom, elementals, including the furry people, that's right, the hairy
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom has some, he sees people as well.
Okay.
Oh, This is a great question, Teresa, and then we'll take more questions as we get into this. Teresa, are dragons that started as ET that became part of mythology, are they also elementals, water and fire? Example.
Oh, we're going to have to break that one down. There's several
Yeah,
questions in that one. You want to go ahead and
right.
start off, or you want to wait on it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, because we got her up there. Let's get her done. So
Okay. All right. So, are dragons that started as ETs that became part of mythology? They are also elementals, water, fire. It looks like to me it's a statement.
yeah.
Is that a
Um,
statement, Teresa, or is there a question in there?
and she's driving, I think, too, or she was driving. So it could be that was at a stop sign when she was doing that or a stoplight.
Because it looks
Um,
like she's telling us, and Teresa is extremely connected with all this. So she might be just giving us information.
yeah. But I agree. I mean, most of the dragons that I know are shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can go and do anything they want to do. Like I see Kali, the goddess, as a she comes in as a dragon quite often, and she comes in as a red dragon and a gold dragon. So yeah, they're quite adept at doing things.
Yeah.
I'm going to start starring some of these so we can talk about. God, you guys have good questions too. Thank you for being here, everybody.
I can help you.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. She's asking.
You're
Okay,
asking for
Teresa.
verification. Okay. So she wants verification. So let's see, what was that original question then? Because I really thought you were telling us.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was a great question. There it is. Are dragons that started as ETs that became part of mythology, are they also elementals? Example, water, fire.
They're fire elementals, salamanders, fire elementals. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. They were fire. Okay, Drew, what are you getting? My answers are so short. You get elegant, nice answers.
No, I agree 100%. I agree that they morph. They can go inner earth and dive in like so many of the elementals in the galactics do. Entire civilizations of them living there. And they really like inner earth because they like being a part of the cave system,
right,
in the corridors. And it is a good place for them to hide if they come to earth. And then I believe that they go through different dimensions just like we do. Mm-hmm. No time or space. And when they go into different dimensions, they morph in color, but they also morph into other planets and whatnot.
Okay. So I'm going to go more with this, Teresa.
Okay.
With my question, because it just popped in my head. Okay, so they went extinct, supposedly, on Earth. And on that process of them going extinct, do you think they were just moving inside Earth at time and they actually did not go extinct, is what I'm getting?
Yeah.
They just disappeared from on Earth and went inside.
Yeah. I feel like that's what happened with a lot of the elementals.
Right. So let me see. Yeah, I'm getting that. Yes, I'm getting the disruption on Earth for them to survive, that they had to go inner Earth. And as a lot of other beings, when they got into inner Earth and made a home, they did not want to come back out because they made inner Earth work for them and it was a better lifestyle for them. That's what I'm getting. And you're getting that too. I got her in there. So, they never did go extinct. They went in inner Earth for the disruption that was on Earth, is what they're saying.
Yeah, and I feel like when we went through the Iron Age, the Metal Age, the Machine Age, that was just we became so consumer focused and so focused on the 3D, and we got away from being a part of the earth. Not all of us. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful people that were still involved with the elementals, but you look at Ireland, you look at a lot of indigenous tribes, you look at even still today, they won't build on ley lines in Ireland, and they won't build on ley lines, and I think it's Japan as well. There's a lot of Eastern cultures too that won't build on anything. Mary, do you think they went to extinct because of the air and went in Earth to breathe?
I'm just seeing just the destruction of Earth. Don't see the breathing. Almost I see like their feet were getting on fire from lava. So I think they went in for that kind of destruction. Is what I'm seeing. What do you see, Teri?
I see both. I see part of it was a calamity on the planet, and let's be honest here. Earth, Gaia has shaken us off many times.
Yes, yes, yes.
There was Atlantis, there was Lemurians. I mean, it's been Egypt got shook around, right? The pharaohs, they kept all that information for themselves. So
I always say they treated us like a dog with fleas, shaking us off. Earth does whenever it's not happy with us.
Yeah, she's not going to jeopardize the planet. Because we're messing up. She keeps giving us other chances though.
Yeah.
So we're really lucky that she does that. Yeah. Oh, interesting, Tony. Okay, I got that.
That's an interesting question.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, because I don't even know what a rainbow angel is.
I've been told I'm a rainbow angel. How can I learn more about this, and how can I open up to who I am?
So, do you know what a rainbow angel is, Teri? Because I don't know. So, Tony, tell us what a rainbow angel is, and we can read on it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. But she wants to learn more about it. So I don't know that she knows what it is. Do you, Tony? Let us know. Tony knows a lot.
So somebody must have told her that, or did she meditate and hear it? Or so Tony, tell us. I'm not well, what the image I just got was you're the escort over the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh.
So I don't know if someone told you that. Okay. So let's read on that. Is she an escort over the Rainbow Bridge? And I'm seeing pets going over the Rainbow Bridge that she's escorting over. Is Tony escorting pets over the Rainbow Bridge? That's what I'm getting. That's what she is.
Yeah.
Wow. Who would ever think it or thunk it?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would never guess that, Tony. Thanks for asking that question. But that's what I'm seeing, that Rainbow Bridge is for the pets and animals that we love that you help cross over.
Yeah. And I also feel like you can kind of shapeshift with that too, as far as being an angel that does other things. Just because you deal with all the different rays. And sometimes when you deal with the rainbow body, like in the Vedas, there's a thing called the rainbow body, and that's kind of when you leave the planet and you're aware. You walk out in awareness, and then you can walk back in awareness, and you don't have that 3D thing of forgetting who you are. So,
I have an angel Gloria that can come on Earth as human in 3D, but she looks like she's wearing all white jeans, white T-shirt, white tennis shoes, and she has this Dolly Parton hair with this bright light around her, a blinding bright light. I'm going, how do people not know you're an angel because of that bright light around you? But you said one day not everybody probably can see that light.
Yeah, I agree. I do think not everybody can see it. My mom had a friend like that. Her name was Mary Starr, and she would wear all white and sometimes royal blue. And she had the big hair, and her name was Mary Starr. And it was like, but she was amazing. So, I love this, Tony. Tony says, my daughter is a vet tech and a wonderful death doula, helping pets and their owners as they transition.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. So that's almost a confirmation there, isn't it?
Yeah, just beautiful. That makes a lot of sense. So she's part of your lineage, Tony. So that makes even more sense that you guys are so interconnected to that. Yeah. Okay. So we were going to talk about.
we haven't even gotten to what we were going to talk about. And this is the first time Teri and I have prepared for a show. We never prepare.
I printed, you guys. I printed. It's highly unusual. And then we said, why did she print? Well, I was like, why did I do that? Because I could, we can talk verbatim about it. Do you want to talk about some of the elementals that you've had the opportunity to?
Well, we probably have some new people here. So do you want, because you printed it out, why don't you go through the basic types of elementals, or you want me to do that just real fast, and so people that are new here know what we're talking about?
Yeah. Do you want me to? I'm happy to, but we might have kind of a different thing on it.
Right, because mine is so simple, and you got this nice printout. So I have a feeling you did better homework than I did. So you go ahead.
Okay. I did the inner earth elemental species, because I do feel like there's a lot of the species that I deal with that stay inside. The rock people, the tree beings, the fairies, the dwarves, the giants, merfolk, air sylphs, all sorts of different, the serpent and the dragon beings. And then I've got the insectoid and ant lineages.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Which they're very interconnected. All of these are very interconnected with the galactics as well, I think.
Also there's some insectoids too.
Yes, the insectoids, the mantis, the ant people, the insectoid beings, for sure. And then the Lyran human hybrids, and I've got a list of the hybrids that just printed out from stuff that I'd gone through. But I also feel like there's insectoid human hybrids.
Mm-hmm. There are.
Yeah, and inner earth and star hybrids.
Don't I have a chapter in this book about somebody transferring from human to an insectoid in my book?
I don't know. I read it in 12 hours.
There's a chapter in there. I think it's in this book. Yeah, it is in this book. And it's a guy in Mexico that was running because he didn't know what's happening to him. And
that's right.
Yeah. So don't want to give it all away.
Yeah. You guys have to get the book. The book's incredible. We had the other day, we're driving down the road, and I was like, oh my God, it's a baby. And my daughter's like, what are you talking about? And there was a beautiful praying mantis on our windshield. And so we pulled over, and it took us about a half hour to get them off the windshield because they like to play around.
Yeah.
And then we finally did. But they're such beautiful creatures. Anyway, so go on. Now, what do you have there?
Well, I've just got the real basic, which are the earth beings are usually known as gnomes, fire or the salamander, water, the undines, and the air we think of as the fairies. That's all I put down just to give a brief thing about what we usually identify as elementals and what their earth beings that are here are the elementals. So that was my big homework assignment. That's all I wrote down. The rest I just talk about my experiences, because I've worked a lot with the elementals, which I never expected, because I had started off working with the ETs or the aliens or galactic beings. And so I was really connected to them, and it was doing a lot of work. But when I moved to Mount Shasta, and after I had connected with the Lemurians there, which are some inner earth beings also, and then all of a sudden I started working with the elementals. Oh my gosh, Dirty Harriet, that's my cat. She's getting ready to sound off. She wants to go outside. But so anyway, so I have a lot of stories about that. I don't know how you want to start with that, Teri.
Yeah, let's hear them.
You want to start with okay. So when I moved to Mount Shasta, and the first night I met an elemental, it was in the middle of the night. They woke me up. It was the gnomes, and they came and they're going, we're the elementals. And they woke me up, and I looked up and I went, oh gosh, what a crazy dream. The gnomes, what were gnomes doing in my bedroom? There were 3 of them. And so I went back to sleep. Well, they got a little louder. We're the elementals, and woke me up again. I'm going, oh yeah. Crazy dream. I can't believe I continued that dream. So I went back to sleep. And then it was like, we're the elementals. We're the elementals. They were so noisy that I could not ignore them. And so I woke up and I sat up and I'm going, okay, here I am. And so a lot of times when these beings are contacting me, they're always needing help. So my next question is how can I help you? And so they are stuck on Earth. They cannot go galactic. So they're connected to Earth. So they needed me, which sounded like the craziest thing. They needed me to go to two different stars. No, it was three different stars. I can't remember the details. And this will be more in my second book. And I had to go to the stars and connect the stars to the trees on Earth, to the tree roots. They connected them to tree roots, but I had to go up to the star and connect to the star, throw down the line to them. And of course, it's, this white line, and throw it down so they could connect it to the root. But that was their communications. Now they're able to communicate with all the galactics, everything out there, but they cannot travel and they cannot repair the lines. Now there is a guy in South Africa named Johan, which Nancy Jean, and I had talked to him. I had talked to him many times, and she was really good friends with them. He worked with the ley lines, so I'm going, okay. Hey, Danny. I said, okay. Well, I'm going to call Nancy Jean and Johan, get her to get Johan to take care of these guys. So I did, and we sat her. It was probably about 2 weeks later, those elementals came back going, we need your help, the same thing. And I'm going, okay, what happened to Johan? Well, I found out Johan was on paternity leave, and he was not doing any kind of work. So I'm going, holy crap, it's me. I've got to do this. I didn't know how to do it. So anyway, so I went up to the first star and I felt like I was like, I was in my spaceship, and I got out of the spaceship and went crawling out. And I don't know why I was crawling, because I wasn't going to fall off, but I went crawling out with this rope in my hand with a hook appeared, and I hooked it to the star and threw the rope down to them. And I didn't know how in the world it found it, but that rope went straight down to them, and they connected it to the tree roots. So we repaired their communication system. So that was my first adventure with the first elementals that I met.
Wow. That's pretty phenomenal. It's very phenomenal.
Pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why I thought I was going to fall off the star, but I've been on the stars many times. But this time when I landed, I crawled out there with this rope in my teeth, not my teeth, wrapped around my neck, crawled out there and hooked it and threw it down. Some of the things I do.
Amazing. And because they always show me when we go inside, when we do meditations or visions and go inside the tree trunk. Mm-hmm. So the rings of time, the concentric circles, and being able to time travel in there. But then they've also shown me that with those tree roots, when you go deep in, they're like a vortex, and you can go inside and go deep. But that makes perfect sense with the line connecting to the stars, because that's kind of how we're doing the light grid now too.
Right. That was their communication systems. They told me that's how they communicated with the galactics and everybody out there. And it's also, they travel on the ley lines. And so they showed me how they travel on the ley lines. So they can go anywhere on Earth, and be there in just minutes traveling on those ley lines.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because they've shown me now that, and this is recent, like this is in the last 6 months, that they've shown me the gossamer thread, kind of like the ley lines, but interconnecting to the light grid that goes around the planet, outside the planet, out in the atmosphere. And those are interconnected by gossamer threads to the ley lines. And now they've started having me take the gossamer threads up into the planets too, and the other universes. So we've never talked about this before.
No. Never. Well, also what surprised me even later was I see the gnomes in the trees. I had never known they were connected to the trees, which made perfect sense later because they were connecting those communication systems to the tree roots. So it made sense that they were sitting up there in the trees just talking away to the galactics, I guess. I'm not sure what they were doing, but I never had associated gnomes with the trees. But in Mount Shasta, that's where they were.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that. They've also shown me that the Yetis or the Sasquatch or whatever you want to call them, the hairy ones, are really interconnected with the tree people.
Oh yeah.
That's like often they're very, very shy, and they'll easily go inside the tree to hide.
Yeah, the tree. Whenever they showed me how to do the Akashic records, and that's before everybody was doing these Akashic records. I knew what they were, but they took me. My guide took me inside of a tree and took me down to see the Akashic records. Now,
Yeah.
I go in differently. Well, it looks different for me because when I go in and to the Akashic records, I'm greeted by this woman that looks like a ghost that's from Ghostbusters. That woman in the library? That's the
Yeah.
one that greets me. It takes me on in, and I follow her in, and they sit me down and bring the books out. But that's how I started reading the Akashic records, and I didn't know that was a big deal. I'm going, well, this is how I do it. This is how they showed me how I do it. But they would never let me read my own book. And I always get these humorous ones too. They put my book out there for me, and I go, oh yay, I get to see everything about myself. And I opened it up, and it was blank.
Oh my
But
God.
I'm like, well, what a tease that was. I could go and read anybody else's, but I can't read mine.
Wow. They have shown me that these Akashic records are on special planets, not on every planet, but there are other libraries and other planets, and that we were seated with that. So we're quite lucky that we've got that.
Yeah, and also they are in Atlantis in the
Yeah.
world. The Akashic records are there also, very protected there. And those are some that have some extremely important information, the ones that are in Atlantis. They didn't allow me to go in that room.
Wow. I would love to see that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I started reading the Akashic records, I think I was 14. So when I did it in trance, when I was with the School of Metaphysics, but since then they've shown me the Akashic records going in, and they've also shown me, like, when I go inside the earth, the corridors inside the earth and the cave systems and whatnot. And a lot of times, like, to get to the Hathors, there's guardians, and sometimes the guardians are insectoid, and sometimes the guardians are the rock people, and they look like the people on Easter Island, the big rocks, they're all roll, and I channel them sometimes, and sometimes they're very throaty, their voice, their language, but when they come in, they always show me, what I love about them is that all you have to do is show your heart, and they let you right in. But they're these brawny people, and then all the locks open, and you get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to have that.
Fascinating. Yes, that's so fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so go on. Sorry, we got off there.
That's okay. No. So it's still in Mount Shasta. I'm going, that was the first time I met the elementals. I really had not worked with them, had any dealings with them, but that was my first. And so I'm all proud of myself. Okay, I've worked with the elementals now. And so probably a few months later, I had these beings come into my bedroom again and wake me up and go. And I'm waking up and looking at these tiny humans riding fruits and vegetables. Now you think I'm going, I hadn't been drinking. What's going on here? I'm going to go back to say, what a wild dream. And then in my mind was, oh, they're telling me I need to eat more fruits and vegetables. So I'm going, okay, I got the message. I'm going to go back to sleep. Well, they woke me up again. And I'm going, okay, I really have the message. I will promise you, I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables. And then the third time they woke me up and I'm going, okay, all right, let's sit up and talk to them. Well, they were just flying all around me. And the main one was riding a pea. It was a guy riding a pea, and he was the one in charge of all these elementals. They didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to meet me. And it turns out that they are my main people that I deal with now when it comes to the elementals. They have followed me here to where I'm in North Carolina now. They have followed me and they have stayed with me, and they call themselves I have to read this, the Sylphs. I never know how to say this. SYLPH. They're the Sylphs. Sylphs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I say they're part of the air people, but that's kind of like the fairy realm, but they're these Sylphs. and they stay with me. Now the gnomes stay with me too because they can travel on the ley lines, but not like these sylphs. They are always with me.
I could see that. They feel very ethereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they
They,
can just float
they
in
actually,
and out.
yeah, they've actually taken me to their homes, which we had to shrink because they're little tiny things, and they put me on a dragon. And actually, I have to say this: Danny was with me when we went in there. We were both riding little dragons inside this the fairies or the sieves going into their homes, which looked like medieval when we got in there. It was real fascinating. But I was very honored. We were both honored to be able to visit their home, and it was like this tiny little hole on the side of like the mountain, like a ledge, and we went inside of there. Like you would never known that that was a place that they were coming and going out of.
Wow. I think we need to do some retreats out there.
Yes. So,
Take a little trip.
so that would be my biggest second encounter. Do you want to talk some about it? Or do you want
Um,
to, Terry?
I have never dealt with them, but I do see the small ones when we go in, and it's weird when I go inside Inner Earth and I see the small rocks and the big rocks, and I see there are a lot of giants that are waking up, right? But
Mhm.
there's also the tiniest that are waking up, and they always say, "No, you're waking up to us. It's not us that are waking up." But I see their eyes opening all the time.
Right.
Um, and sometimes I go in there and work with them, but that is amazing.
Yeah. Well, when
Yeah.
I was saying goodbye to the mountain, when I was doing a video to say goodbye to the mountain, I don't know how many people saw that, but it was 22 degrees up on the mountain. And I had this insect fly, looked like a horsefly that kept flying around me. There was nothing around. No, I'm sitting going, I'm going to have to swat this thing, but I'm glad I didn't because, hindsight, everybody's going, that was an elemental because the gnomes were in the trees there. They were all saying goodbye to me. The air people were there, and here is this insect and was flying around because I was up there saying goodbye to the mountain, and they were also saying goodbye also. But that fly, and it's a video where this fly gets flying around me, and I'm just going, it is 22 degrees up here. There are no insects. Where in the world did this thing come from? But
Yeah.
of course, it was an elemental.
Wow. Yeah. Amanda says she saw it. Amanda Carroll. And Amanda, I think I remember it too, now
Yeah.
that you're talking about it, because I just remember you saying, what's going on here? And Amanda says flies matter. And yeah, so that's another point too with the galactics. We're so prejudiced. I mean, we're rather tribal, the human species, and there's a lot of things like, well, I don't want to know somebody that lives in Bermuda or Austria or whatever. It's silly things that we put limitations on. But then also the way that we look at people that are flies are people that fly on a pea, right? That would be so frightening that we're not quite ready until we get into that state where we're open to all these things.
Right.
Do you feel like we'll have contact little by little?
Well, I think it will be easier for the elementals to contact us than it will be for the galactics. I just think, I'm not sure they'll contact us, but just think we're going to be opening up to more awareness of them around us. I think that's more how it'll happen. I think it'll be like a soft, like all of a sudden everybody's seeing fairies. All of a sudden everybody's seeing gnomes. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, the trees are alive. That kind of thing. So I think that part will be, I imagine we're probably going to open up to, it'll be easier for us to open up to them first than it will be anything else.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I can see that. And it's funny that there's always information out there if you look and you're on that algorithm about sightings
Yeah.
and new things opening up inside the earth, like Antarctica recently. They discovered some beautiful buildings underneath the snow or the ice, and then they got a sub in there and everything was gone.
Yeah.
So it's just right and left.
Right.
everything that's coming in.
They've been very worried about Antarctica with the ice melting, that there's going to be so much exposure of what's going on there. So, yeah, I think they are prepared to get rid of whatever the evidence is going to be happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they already did.
Yeah. Well, I think there's more melting that's going to have to occur to and see things. But I would say when I moved to, I'm in North Carolina now, and I'm on the coast. And when I moved here, I moved into I'm in a rental house right now. And when I moved in this house, I was not happy about moving this house. It's too big for me. I'm used to little houses. And so anyway, so I was not happy. For the first time when I moved in a house, I wasn't real happy about moving in here. Well, it came to bite me in the butt because, and I had no idea that there's negative elementals. And it was the first time I had ever met anything negative, and it was called an orc, O-R-C. And it took me weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to figure out who this was. And he's attached to this land here. And I had not honored it when I moved in. I was frustrated, mad, and I had not honored the land. So he came, kept attacking my dog, is how they were doing it. And she was scared. She was trying to run out of the house. And finally, when I knew I had to do something is when it came and tried to suffocate me, tried to put a pillow over my face and suffocate me. So I knew I had to do something. And it was a big learning. It took me forever to figure out, oh, I have not honored your land. So I finally went and got some obsidian. I put it out in front, and it was Mount Shasta obsidian. So I knew this stuff was strong. And so I went and put it out front, and I'm going in going, oh, I'm so glad. Well, anyway, immediately turn around. Now he's my ally. But there's a lesson for everybody. Whenever you move to someplace new, honor the land that you're on. You don't know what might be existing there. Not all of them have an elemental like that, but just be careful and honor the land and be happy that you're there. Give them a gift that you're here, and to make sure that they're on your side, because now that big orc is protecting me and my pets. So that was a big lesson for me to learn.
That's interesting. So we had something happen in this house a few years back where an ancient one awakened. And the energy of this ancient spirit, it's like, I call her like a district manager for Gaia. So, and I feel like they're all around the planet, right? These district managers. But this ancient energy awakened, and I was like, and my kids could feel it. My dog could feel it. And I was like, what is this? And I had, at the time, Reverend Saul was still alive. And so he came in and helped me with it. And we were like, okay, I don't think there's anything negative here. It's just so powerful. Mm-hmm. But I did take some books down to the basement that they liked. And now that we live copacetically, but I feel very protected, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, once you give it a treasure.
Yeah, once you're accepted. And, before I was out being a medium, or that I even accepted myself being a medium, I have rental houses, and I would go into my empty rental houses, the ones that were built in the 20s and 30s, and they would have ghosts in them. And I'm real sensitive to that. And I've always been sensitive to that. And I would tell everybody who's working in the house, be careful. This ghost is not happy that we're here. Be careful. Be careful walking up and down the stairs. And everybody just laugh at me. Anyway, nobody laughs at me now because one day when I was in the dining room, I said, this ghost lives in the dining room and the kitchen. This is where she is. She's here both ways. And she finally started liking me and getting along, because I came in and I always prettied up her house. And so she finally accepted me. But one day when the guys were working in there, she started turning on the ceiling fan in the dining room, on and off, on and off, on and off. It freaked them out so badly. They got out there, called me back in there, and they're going, I told you to be nice to her, Anyway, so that was before I had accepted who I was, and I had kind of been in denial of it. But anyway, I always have stories like that about going in houses like that.
Wow. And you've been doing all this stuff for so long, and you kind of said, oh, I'm just new to it. And I'm like, oh, no, you are not.
Yeah, I mean, because even just recently I found out, because I always have been sneaking in and out of hospital rooms, healing people when they're either sleeping or in a coma, taking care of our light workers. I've been sneaking in and out using equipment that I have. But I had just recently found out when one guy remembers seeing me, because nobody usually sees me. He described how it was on his end, me coming in. And that was a big, like, oh yeah, I really am doing that. Before it was like, oh yeah, I think I'm doing that. Surely. And now, and then it opened me up to, I have been doing it since at least 20 or 30 years. I've been doing it. And I'm going, holy crap, I've been doing this my whole life. I didn't know I was doing that.
Wow, that's amazing. In my 20s, I had a little apartment right next to a hospital. It was just a block away. That my mom was going through very serious cancer illness,
Oh,
and for some reason everything clicked, and spirits would come from the hospital when they were transitioning to my apartment and be ready to go. I don't know how I knew how to do this, but I would call in Jesus, Archangel Patrick, and Archangel Michael, and and they would come in as orbs, but their orbs were like jeweled.
yeah.
So there were jewels and gold and very ceremonial. And they would go with them. Not all of them would leave with them.
Oh,
And I said,
yeah. Some of them you have to convince to go
yeah,
away.
I just said, that's okay if you don't want to go, you just can't stay here.
Yeah.
So, and I remember being kind of half in and half out when that was always happening.
Mhm.
But didn't know how I did it or anything like that. But I knew that that was the thing, and it's interesting, isn't it? I wonder how many of us are going to be waking up to this, that we've been doing all these things for so long.
Well, I think the funniest one I've crossed over is the one that didn't think she could smoke cigarettes on the other side. How many times do we smell that smoke and smoke? Anyway, I kept telling her, you will be able to smoke. You will be. Go ahead and cross over. Please go. And so I always get these high maintenance ones, where she asked me to get her some oatmeal raisin cookies from the special bakery that was there in town. So I did, and went and placed it in the room with her and left and told her, that you can cross over now. I've done what you wanted. And she did cross over. And as soon as she got on the other side, there was a man waiting for her with a lit cigarette and handed it to her. It was so funny. she was just startled when she saw him standing there with that cigarette. But that was what was holding her back, is she loved to smoke and she didn't want to give it up. That's why she had never crossed over.
Wow, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, yeah, because it's an addiction, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's also, some people, it's their joy. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it happens so often.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. Did you have any other stories about your?
I think I've gotten through my stories, and all this, a lot of this is in my second book.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to read it. That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I do see, they take me down often to the crevasses in the ocean, and there's many water beings there, the giants, and there's also giants in the caves, and in the they're not around the tectonic plates, but I see the tectonic plates kind of dancing all the time. But while I'm talking about the tectonic plates, all of a sudden they said, "Okay, there's people here. There's something there that dances with them." I don't know what elemental would that be. Do you think?
Well, they got the undies, and you got your merman and mermaids, which I do have a story about a merman.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Well, you go ahead.
Okay, okay. But I do see the water beings too, because that's a regular thing that we do, is we go in and heal with the water,
Yeah.
and acclimate the water to the light and the water, the crystalline energy inside the more water inside the earth. It's the scientific fact, than on the crust of the earth.
Right. Yeah.
So, um, and it's healing water. It's like plasma. So going in there is really interesting, and there's always beings there. And I don't want to ever have anybody feel weird, when we're in there with the tribe. Like, okay, now look, and who comes to you? like, because there's so many different water beings inside. I was talking to, it was either Pamela or Patricia, somebody that's here, and we were talking about this, and they're real connected with the water beings on a different planet. I don't know if it was
Oh, yeah.
Sirius.
Cetus B.
Yeah,
CETUBS or Sirius B. Yeah, those are big water planets that I know of.
yeah,
But I've seen myself as a whale, a shark, a mermaid. I've been all of those water beings in different lifetimes.
wow.
So, and again, um, uh, so as I said, I helped a merman one time with his issues. But you go ahead, Terry. I'll talk about that in a few minutes because I want you to
No,
finish that thought.
okay. Well, so going through that in the water, and then they take us into the eventually we go into the core of the earth, and the core of the earth I always see as a magnetic core, but I also see it as zero density, like the beginning, just like zero density in the universe, or the multiverse, right, where universes are made and universes end, transformation always, so infinite potential there, zero dimension where creator is, and also in the center of the earth. But then they show me being a fern on this planet when that was the highest vibration on the planet, and being that fern was like a beautiful, beautiful thing.
That would make sense that while we have so many beings that live in there, if it's, if that's the place, that would be the place to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's all I got right now.
Well, I hadn't even written down the merman, but one time this merman was being like a slave to this being in the water, and this thing looked like a blob that was inside of a cave, and he was able to manipulate him. He had some control over this merman, and this merman would leave the water, turn into a human, put a suit on, and he was a hitman, and would come back and get back in the water and swim back down. And this was like he would swim off the coast of Australia and go kill somebody and go back into the water and swim down. What? Oh my gosh, nobody would ever find that hitman. But anyway, he was a slave to this, whatever blob this thing was in a cave down there. And I ended up doing one day is I turned into a shark, and I was going, oh my gosh, I'm a shark. I can't believe I'm a shark. But I remember when it happened, but that water felt so good. And I felt like, oh, I can move and I can swim. I've never felt this good before. But I went and severed the ties that blob had to this merman. And because I could see he had like tentacles, almost like they were white, but almost like octopus tentacles that went to this guy that made him do what he did. And he was always, this merman was threatened about harming his family. So I went in and I severed all those ties that he had to everybody and took them and bent each one of them where he could not ever do that again. So that was my other story about that.
Where do you think that blob came from?
I don't know where that blob came from. I've not really gotten into that energy to find out much about that blob because I still, you stay in such disbelief of what you did and being a shark and how good that felt that I just did not really look. But I don't know that he would have survived after I did that. I don't know if he did or not, or if he was probably miserable because he couldn't control anybody.
Couldn't feed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he could feed, but he couldn't control people to do what he wanted to do.
Oh.
It's like, I don't even want to go there. Never mind.
Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. Wow. Well, amazing.
We haven't even gotten to anybody's questions. I
No,
haven't
we
talked
haven't.
too much.
No. It's been really interesting. Let's go back up here and see what we've got. Okay. So Bernadette, I think we handled that. Hi, Bernadette. Can you please talk more about mermaids?
Well, I did talk about a merman, a little bit about that, but I don't know how much more you want to know. I go by my experiences with them. more than I do educated studying or learning. So, do you have any more about that, Terry?
No, just I get that there are many that walk among us and hybrids kind of,
Yeah.
and then they go back in, but they know when they're in the water that it's their space, and like you'll see a lot of people and they can't stay away from the water, like the surfers and a lot of swimmers. There's a lot of people that are, yeah, right, the water.
One of them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting, but I do feel like we were just talking about that they're also interconnected with some of those water planets.
Oh yeah, well, Cetus, I'm very connected with the planet Cetus B, and it's Cetus, not Sirius B, but that's a planet that I went to, or if it's a star that I went and found out that I was a shapeshifter. When I walked in, they pushed a rack in, like a rack of clothes, but one thing that was hanging on it was a whale suit. And I zipped off my human suit, hung it on the rack, and put that whale suit on, and went swimming with the whales. So that was just awesome.
Oh my God.
Yes. I
Did
mean,
they sing?
how good it feels when you get into water, when you're in a fish or a whale body or a mermaid body. It just feels unbelievably good. It's almost like you got freedom and you can stretch. It's almost like you've been contained in this human body forever.
I've felt that a few times, being in the water. In Mexico, there's a beautiful set of islands, and it's like an old volcano, and in one of them, and you go through a corridor or cave, and then you're inside this beautiful spot. But and there, I could feel that, being able to swim like that in the water. So I don't know if it was the energy of the place or remembering, but a lot of us here, have something that they love, right? Like floating. I know I've done that on many, many lifetimes. I see different skies. I see different planets that I'm just floating in water and just staring up.
But it's also, it feels cool and crisp. It's hard to explain how good it feels when you get into that water, when you're in kind of a water being body.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay. Thank you, Bernadette. Let's see. Isabel, is it possible that elementals are sending animals to go to certain people?
I would say not necessarily in elementals. I think your guides have a hand in that more so than elementals. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that your guides and your higher self connecting
Yeah,
with the animals, but I do think the animals are very interconnected with the elementals. I think they see what we don't see in
right.
our bodies.
Yeah, definitely. They're seeing them and we aren't.
Yeah,
I'm getting a yes on that. That is your guides and is your team that's sending you that animal. They're sending you what you need.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I love this. Ann Carter says, I have experienced involuntary shape shifting into plants and animals. What does that mean?
I don't know that and that means anything other than what you just said. You're, you're shape shifting into plants and animals. You're a shapeshifter and you've had lifetimes as a plant or animal and you're just remembering it.
Yeah, you're awakening, Ann.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Like we're all starting to remember.
Yeah.
Um, like you'll see something, you already know it. Like I knew that fern, right? And now I can, when I see a plant, I can really feel it and breathe into it. Um, so so yeah, that's
Well, remember, I need to talk about this message. I pulled a card.
oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's pretty important. And it's out of the Elemental Oracle deck. And I pulled a card for everybody today. And it was a pretty powerful message. And about dropped it. That was a powerful message. Okay, it's the volcanoes is what I pulled. And what it was saying, and this was hitting home for me and Terry. We were talking about this. It said, old grudges should be released and let go. Heavy energy hurts us and we should not hold on to it for very long. Allow your anger to flow through you rather than saving it up for an explosive release. And so I think that was extremely powerful. And so many of us are guilty of that. And I am one of them, where we hold in and let everything get to us under our skin, and then we all of a sudden explode. What it's asking us is to let it flow through you. Don't hang on to it. So what do you have, Teri?
Well, I'm just going to say what I said earlier. My grocery store.
We'll talk about your grocery store event. And then, because that's important, because people need to hear that again.
Yeah, I went to I went to Whole Foods, and it's in a nice neighborhood, not very far away from where I live. And but I usually go to these out of the way markets, so I don't know anybody, and it's quiet and everybody's nice. Anyway, I go in there and people are running into me with their carts and just kind of ignoring me, like kind of running over me, and I'm friendly and I'm like smiling hi and stuff like that. And I was just like kind of shot, and I thought, boy, so a lot of times when I go in that market, I just don't get it. And then
I said that's happening to a lot of us. Our vibrations increasing, and when you're going into these grocery stores and markets and different places, they do not see you. You cannot get offended because they cannot see you. Just like you can't see your guide sitting next to you because they're in a different vibrational level. Now we're raising up. And so what happened to Teri? She was happy. She was going to the market and she's smiling and being friendly. Her vibration was up and nobody could see her. She had raised above them. She had to do something to come down. Like probably when that person hit you with their car, didn't you say somebody hit you with the car? That was probably brought you down a little bit. Where
I said, "Ouch," and she didn't hear me say anything.
Yeah,
it was really interesting.
And so that's going to be happening to a lot of us. So you have to remember that. Just don't get angry because they can't see you.
Yeah, happening more and more often. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Do we want to? We're almost at the hour.
It's this one right here.
Okay. Cat Mama. I'm Cat Mama. Dr. Gail, I feel the pull of Mount Shasta. Do you see me buying property in or near Mount Shasta for my animal sanctuary and home? Oh,
wow, that's great. I would say, the energy is so strong there, Cat Mama. I would go there and spend a couple of years before you make that commitment. And I'm getting a humongous yes on this. Go spend a couple of years because it'll take you that long to find the right property. I would imagine for an animal sanctuary, and there's a lot of people there that would support you doing that. But you've got to get used to that energy, and you don't know how that kind of energy is going to affect your health while you're there. So I would suggest before taking on such a big project in the beginning, just go ahead and spend a couple of years there, just renting, getting used to the place, meeting the right people, and then finding your property that you're wanting to have your animal sanctuary on. All right, Teri, what do you got?
I got one of my favorite cards, surrender and release. There might be, you don't want to carry too much stuff with you. And I'm saying that emotionally, like, what you think it's going to be, or have a preconceived notion about it. But also, if there's any old stuff that you're carrying up there, and we've all got the old stuff that we're shedding right now. So just make sure that, like me going to Whole Foods, be careful. And then I agree. It's the power. There's so much power there. Mm-hmm. So make sure that it's something that will work for you.
Yeah, she's got to physically getting used to a place before she takes on that big project.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, you want to do one more?
We can.
Okay, let's. Sal says, I've had multiple times in my life over time where praying mantis were on my body. Does that suggest I have a connection to the mantis beings?
Well, I would say yes, but my connection with the mantis beings is they always show up when they're getting ready to tell me what my next phase of life is. So I imagine, Sal, that's what, yeah, and I get a big yes on this.
I do
Whenever
too.
they're showing up, it's a new phase of your life that's getting ready to happen, and they're sitting there telling you about it. And well, I can't say that they warn you, but they're the ones that let you discover the next phase of your life. They kind of show that to you, and also at that point in time, you can either agree to it or not agree to it. So they're the ones that come and give you that information and get the yes or no from you. And so
Do you think it has anything to do with the healing too?
the mantis beings show up on healings too.
Yeah.
They're like the surgeons, but then when they show up, they're usually with two other people, like
Okay.
graves, that are assisting them. That's
Yeah.
how I'm seeing. But when I'm seeing a mantis being individually coming to me directly, I'm going, okay, what's next? What's happening? What are you wanting me to do? And you do have that decision to make at that point in time with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like there might be some similarities too in your demeanors, Sal, with the Manus beings. So just kind-hearted and techno savvy. So very, very interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Gail.
And thanks,
Dr.
Terry. That's
Gail.
great.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We don't normally come on at night, but I think we're on Saturday together again.
Yeah, Saturday be the Solaris Healing Center.
Great. So if anybody feels like they need to come over and get a healing, please come. We will be there at 11 Central, 12 noon Eastern. So come on over on Saturday and we'll see y'all there. Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.